Shwmae Baw, Jason Shepherd here from the Learn Welsh podcast. Now, here is a problem. I'm hand-holding the video today instead of having it up on a tripod. Here's the problem with that. I can do this. Yay! Yeah, I know. And I can show you around the room. Look, it's a door. There's a door there. And it's a microphone. Don't be so rude. I'm sitting on a bed. Yeah. Yes, I record these sitting on a bed. How fantastic. I know. The glamour. Anyway, these videos are called Travel and Learn because I'm travelling around Wales and taking you to some beautiful places that I love and teaching you some Welsh words while we're there. And that's not what the videos were about originally because it was my mum's 70th. She wanted the immediate family to go down to Tenby and celebrate with her. Spend a couple of days there. And you know what? While I was there, I said to my wife, why not film a little travel video to show people around this beautiful place? People are always saying to me, Jason, where can we go in Wales? Where do you suggest? And Tenby is one of those places. So we filmed. And after filming, and looking back at the footage, I went, Homer Simpson style. Go, go, go! Go! Yeah, that's what I did. Because I realised, as somebody who teaches Welsh on here, I could have been teaching you some simple everyday Welsh words, things that we see around Wales. We're walking past an arch, we're walking past a wall, we're walking past trees. I could be teaching you these simple, easy to learn Welsh words while I was there. So we are doing that in this one, but it's a little added on. But I hope you enjoy it. Some of the footage for my first outdoor video was a little bit shaky. Yeah, a little bit shaky. So there's a few photos in there as well and some commentary over it. But I hope you enjoy them. Hope you like them. Hope you find them useful. And I'll see you at the other end. I'm in Tenby. We came down here last night. We're staying here, me and my wife, for 2 days. And Tenby is a beautiful little town. It's inside walls that were built in the 13th century. And it's right by the beach. I'm going to show you in a minute the beach. And the view from our window is fantastic. We can see over to Clwt Island, which is a little island where the monks live. And they make a lot of goods that they sell over here in Tenby. They've got a little shop. Well, anyway, let me show you outside my window. This is South Beach. Okay, I don't know if you can see that South Beach there. And that's Clwt Island right in front of us. And later on, I'm going to take you around Tenby and show you some of the lovely sights in this historic little town. So we're now outside, and this is Clwt Island. There it is. And as you can see, there's a causeway between Clwt and the mainland there. Apparently a bit of a treacherous walk across, but you can do it. So Tenby is a seaside town off the Pembrokeshire coast in West Wales. Population of 5,000, but it gets 10 times that many people during the summer with all the tourists. Two beaches, north and south. They're separated by a very pretty harbour. Some bracelets and everything. And across from us, here on North Beach, we can see Clwt Island, also known in Welsh as Ynys Island. It's a small island off the coast of Tenby. It's a holy island bought in the early 1900s by Cistercian monks from Belgium. Today, the monks rely on tourism for the upkeep of the island. They make cheeses, perfumes, chocolates, which they sell in their shop in Tenby. If you want to go to Clwt, it's a short journey by boat. A little pricey for my taste, but it's lovely out there. But you can't go on Sundays. No boats on Sundays. No! So as I look in front of me, I can see this beautiful beach. Traeth would be beach, but the seaside or the seashore in Welsh would be Glan Môr. Glan Môr. There's a Welsh name, Glan, so I think of Glan. I'm seeing them all the time. I'm seeing Glan Môr and Môr all the time. More and more, I should say. Glan Môr. More and more I'm seeing Glan Môr. I'm also looking at the island in front of me, Ynys Island, called the island, and of course that first word, Ynys, means island. Ynys. Ynys. And if you are wondering why the word Ynys is familiar, well, if you've been watching the news in the last few years, you might remember Prince William was living and working in Anglesey. In Welsh, Anglesey is Ynys Môn. So that might be why you've heard the name. Anglesey, by the way, is a beautiful part of Wales. I've only been to one area there, but I really want to go and see more of it. So we've come from the Esplanade and now we're walking up St. Florence Parade towards the South Parade. And what you can see on the right are the walls of the main town. Some parts of this wall are as old as the 13th century. Even though it's early in the morning here, we've got lots of cars going past. So perfect opportunity to teach you a Welsh word. And the Welsh word for car is the same as the English but with a rolling R. Car. Car. So when you see a car and you're trying to think of the Welsh word, say to yourself, car with a rolling R. Car. And we're looking at a big wall in front of us. Well, the Welsh word for wall, similar to the English. Spelled W-A-L, wal. Wal. And a great way to remember the word is to think of every wall you see as your friend. My pal the wal. Wal. My pal the wal. Wal. So now you can see one of the towers on the walls of Tenby, and you can see the slits on the side where the soldiers would put the bows and arrows through so they could protect the town. So the Welsh word for tower is twr, spelled T-W-R. The W has that upside down V over it, which indicates that we're elongating that oo sound. Twr. Twr. With a rolling R at the end, of course. I like to think, to remember this word, that I'm going on a tour of Tenby, but I say tour with an accent. I'm going on a tour of Tenby. Let's go on a Tenby tour. Tour. Tower. And here is a sight you wouldn't expect to see in Wales. A palm tree. Well, several palm trees. They're looking a bit wet and a bit sad for themselves, but they are palm trees, and you will see them around Wales, here and there. Of course, the place you'd expect to see palm trees is in the Bahamas or the Caribbean, somewhere like this. But I'll take Tenby any time over those hot countries. I would, honestly. No, why are you walking away from me? No, I would. Much prefer Tenby. Ah, the Caribbean, Jamaican sun. I mean Tenby and the rain. Wonderful. This is Westgate. You can see 3 arches and there's an entranceway through the arch. And on the other side, you can see this lovely plaque put up by the Tenby Civic Society which says Site of the Westgate, 13th century. And this is the Westgate in the town, which was defended by a gatehouse, guarded by soldiers and armed. They were armed with bows and arrows. The walls have been expanded and strengthened, especially during the 14th and 15th century, and this was paid by taxes on ships that were using the harbour. Now, once Tenby became a fashionable seaside resort, some of the defences were knocked down to give better sea views. Not something that would happen these days because it's a historical site. Do you know what I love about the outer walls? All these little doorways. One of them goes into a Greek restaurant, and there's another tiny doorway here. You look up into it, it's an arcade. There's lots of shops in there, and it goes up into the main part of town. I love all these little surprises that Tenby brings. Right, so we're at the top end of Tenby, and I'm going to show you the harbour and the beach below. This is North Beach, very popular with tourists in the summer. Quite a walk down to the beach, we're quite high up here, and I spent many a time as a kid on the beach in the summer, playing in the sand, swimming, playing sports, etc. The thing I always loved was the big rock, which is called Goskar rock, and it was once part of the surrounding cliffs, but wind, rain, sea erosion over the years has taken its toll, and it's now a big rock in the middle of the bay. When it's high tide, it's totally surrounded by water. In 1795, the famous artist Turner came down to Tenby, and there is a sketch, a beautiful sketch, which is in one of his sketchbooks in the Tate Gallery of Goskar Rock, which I'm going to show you now. While we're looking at Goskar Rock, let me tell you the Welsh for rock. It is Craig. Craig. Spelled C-R-A-I-G. It looks like the name Craig or Craig in the US and Canada, but that A-I in the middle of the word gives an I sound. Craig. Craig. So next we're looking at the harbour. There's a really pretty view from up here. Now we're walking through the side streets, so quaint and old-fashioned, and make you almost feel like you're back a couple of 100 years in time. We are now passing the Tudor Merchant's House. It was built in the 15th century, repaired in the 1930s, and now owned by the National Trust. You can actually visit the house and look around. It does cost, there is a charge, but we're not going to go in today because we are going to continue down towards the harbour. So from here we have a fantastic view of the harbour. We have loads of houses around it which are all painted in different colours. You'll see the same thing in Aberaeron and in Llandudno as well. As we come down into the harbour, there are lots of signs here for all the boats that will take you into Caldy during the summer. Harbour in Welsh, there are two ways of saying it. One is the more English sounding Harbwr. Harbwr. It sounds like a ha and a boo, like you're going ha, boo, but with rolling R's after each one. Harbwr. 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 The other one is Porthladd, which means dock, port, harbour, seaport, etc. Porthladd. 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 Now, boat in Welsh is bad. Bad. You could say, "Ooh, look at that boat over there, it's a bad boat." Bad. Bad. Okay, so we're down here on South Beach, and just across the water is St. Catherine's Island. St. Catherine's Island, more locally known as St. Catherine's Rock, is a small island linked to Tenby by Castle Beach at low tide. Now, originally, the island was owned by the Earl of Pembroke, uncle of Henry VII. It's also the location of St. Catherine's Fort. It was constructed in 1867 as a defence against the perceived threats of invasion by the Emperor Napoleon III of France. It also served as a zoo for many years. So we are back on the esplanade, going back towards the hotel, and we've come across this fence with all of these locks on. And it's really fun because people who are presumably in love have put their names on the locks, pairing of names on there. Sometimes it says the person's name with a heart and then the other person's name, and the date for when they put the lock there. I think the next time we come here to Tenby, my wife and I might put our own lock up on the fence. And the locks that people are putting up are padlocks. Padlock in Welsh is Clo Clwt. Clo Clwt. And a great way to remember an odd sounding word like that, or two words, is to put it to music. And for me, that would work with the Pink Panther theme. Clo Clwt, Clo Clwt, Clo Clwt, Clo Clwt, Clo Clwt, Clo Clwt, Clo Clwt. That's a good way of remembering a word. Just put it to music. Anyway, now it is time for us to go back to the hotel. Well, I hope you've enjoyed Tenby. It is the day after here. We've had a great time. We had a lovely meal in a pub yesterday. And I think it's always great, especially out of season, because it's still winter here. Go to a local pub, you get to see what the real people are like in the area. And the real people of Tenby are really fun. Great crowd. There was a great band playing. We had a few drinks. And we're going this morning. We're leaving. We're having breakfast in about 5 minutes. And then we'll be leaving. I've had a great time. What I would say is, if you are going to come to Tenby, then make this your base. So there's lots to see here, but it is a small town. You could do a day here looking around. In the summer, there's loads of great boat trips. And then there's loads of other places you could visit as well. Narberth is not far. It's a nice arty village. You've got Haverfordwest, St David's. The tiniest city you'll ever see. It is very small, but it's a beautiful place. You've got so many places around you. Pembroke Docks. What else is nearby? Milford Haven isn't too far. Fishguard. So it'd be a great base here for you to go to other places and also see the sights of Tenby as well. Nice museum here. An art gallery. So there are lots to do over the summertime. Not quite as much in the winter maybe, but the views here are absolutely beautiful. Well, I've enjoyed, and I hope to see you in another video soon. It's time for me to say, hoi!